Good evening everyone, myself Gautam Sharma. I welcome you all in a Sapience Education. So I am going to solve 5.17 question number of the NCERT textbooks. So again question what they are asking, the bob of a pendulum released from 30° to the vertical hits another bob. Okay, so let us see what is happening here. The bob A, so this is your bob A, and of a pendulum released from 30° to the vertical. So this is a 30°, okay, and it is released from here, and another bob of the same mass. See, let us consider the mass of the bob A is m, so mass of the bob B will be same at rest on the table as shown in a figure. How high does the bob A rise after the collision? So as soon as bob A collide with bob B, so what will happen? So there is an exchange of energy. So when this bob will collide with this, so what will happen? Neglect the size of the bob, assume that the collision to be elastic. Now since they are telling that collision is elastic, right? Collision is elastic, okay. So if first of all collision is elastic, right? So if collision is elastic and if mass is same, mass of both the body is same, bodies are same, then one thing you have understood, I hope, that there is exchange of velocity, okay. That is velocity of A will become velocity of A will become velocity of B, and velocity of B will become velocity of A, right? So since here since velocity of A is suppose V, and velocity of B is 0, it is your initial velocity, okay. Now if it is your initial velocity, now after collision what will happen? After collision what will happen? After collision there is exchange of velocity, and if there is an exchange of velocity, so what will happen? If there is so velocity of A will become 0 and velocity of B will become V. It means that velocity of A is at rest mode, and if it collide with the, see here, since it collide with velocity of A when collide with the B, so what happened? Finally it become in a rest. So there is no rise in the height of ball A because it become at a rest. I hope you have understood now, right? So now question number 5.18. The bob of the pendulum is released from horizontal position. So suppose earlier you have seen that there is a bob like this, but what happens? They have made a bob in such a way that they have made a horizontal, right? So when they made a horizontal position, and if the length of the pendulum is 1.5, and what is the speed with which the velocity which the bob arrived at the lower point? So try to understand here what is the lower point. So this is your lower point, right? So when this bob will release from horizontal level, so it will reach here. So what is the velocity at lower point? Okay, mass of the bob is suppose m, here mass of the suppose m, g is the acceleration due to gravity, g is that is equal to 9.8 meter per second square, right? One thing they have told that length of the string is 1.5 meter, and given that dissipation of 5% of its initial energy against the air resistance, so loss of energy is how much? Due to air resistance, loss of energy is 5%. it means that only 95% we have got energy. So as we know that, total energy will remain constant. Total energy will remain constant. Remain constant, right? Since here, since in earlier case stage 1, suppose in a horizontal level, if I am talking about level 1 and if I am talking about level 2, so at level 1, total energy is equal to potential energy plus kinetic energy. Since here total energy, potential energy is m into g into what is the height is your 1.5 meter, plus kinetic energy. Since at this age, at this stage velocity is 0, so kinetic energy will be 0. So finally total energy is your m into g into 1.5. Now this total energy, and the energy at the lower point is how much? Energy at lowest point is how much? Energy at a lowest point is equal to half mv square, but potential energy is 0, so we can cancel this. Okay, so tell me, as per the question they are telling that there is a loss of energy, 5% loss. It means that total energy earlier was how much? Earlier total energy was how much? It is your 5.5. So earlier what happened? Earlier total energy was m into g into 1.5 meter, and this is equal to how much? Kinetic energy, because total same energy will get converted into kinetic energy, that is half mv square. But here one thing they have told, that there is a loss of energy, 5% loss. It means that how much energy we have got at the lower point. If 5% is lost, it means that 95%, that is 95% of the total energy, 95% of the total energy we have lost, we have got, right? And this 95% of the total energy at the horizontal level has been converted into kinetic energy. So from here, here we can cut here, m got cancel out, so v square will be equal to 2 into 0.95 into gravity has a value 9.8 into 1.5. Now it is a time to convert it, calculate it. So you need to calculate 2 into 0.95 into 9.8 into 9.8 into 1.5. So you will get approximately 5.33 meter per second. I hope you have understood now, right? So that's the thing. If you want to see here again, I'm telling you, you can see this, and I hope you have all have understood now. Thank you.